talking about what they don't see.
Click this.
Is they talking about me?
No?
Alright, you good. Recapture. Click on it. And get
Can't hear you, TT. T, we can't hear you. Is T still talking? Can y'all hear me?
I can't unmute.
Yeah, she's talking. Dang, I shouldn't have heard that TikTok. It's stuck in my head.
It's live, y'all. You went live.
Yes, I did.
Are you gonna talk to him?
I'm distracted.
That girl crazy. I'm talking about Keon.
Oh man. Haters, they gon' hate.
Not real.
Yeah. Um
See, we can't hear you. Hmm.
she's on mute
Oh, okay. She said she's okay.
intentionally.
She said, I'm okay.
Yeah, she said mind your business.
Hey, Mom. Mom said, hello, lads. Man, it's rough out here.
Why is it rough out here, Maya?
Oh, it just is. I'm just ahead.
Nothing to do with me and you. That's the way it is. Hey, Bree.
You can't find nothing.
So, you know, 5 minutes in. Anybody on able to see what's going on out here?
I'm on Instagram. I mean, not Instagram. Facebook.
Maya, did you remind T?
Yeah.
Cool.
Everybody's so used to us being late that now you can't get nobody up on time because they're so used to us being late.
Oh.
Hey, Erica.
Wow.
Erica, I need to call you. I think I got the wrong number.
Hey, Roblox.
Wrong box. Hey, who? That's too far.
Nope.
Wait, what is it? That's what?
Production going crazy.
Oh, okay. We waiting on production?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. That may be me.
Who's singing?
Keon. But Mom said, who's snacking?
This is TikTok. I can't see Instagram. What?
Okay, guys. You want to go ahead and start it off?
Okay, y'all. I'm so sorry. Listen, I'm on cloud 9. Shameless plug. Everybody knows. Welcome to Monday nights. Let's get loose. Let's get comfortable. Let's get friendly and honest. Couple of things is happening with your girl. First of all, if you're new here, this is a blog that we talk about. I don't think I like that. That we talk about from my website, which is labelmelegal.com/blog. Today's topic is movements into men. If you go on there right now, you're gonna see two topics. The first one is already uploaded because I upload it every Monday night, 7:30. It's gonna be the topic for next week. But the second one down is the topic that we're talking about right now. So turning movements into men, and I'll get into that. But I got a few announcements, a few sponsorship announcements. First of all, Label Be Legal. Label Be Legal has sponsored this video once again. And I have published my very first book. It is a claims book. If you don't know me, I am an attorney. My website does have some links to some contracts that you can purchase, but I also, on my website, I published my book that is a step-by-step guide walking you through how to do a car accident on your own. If you don't want to hire a lawyer and split your money, I highly recommend you don't. Hire a lawyer, that is. So anyway, eyes open. Yes, I'm shucking and jiving. This is what I do. Anyway, so I have that on my website. I just published it today. If you know somebody who's been in a car accident or who in the future may have a car accident, please send them to that link, labelmelegal.com. Also, I'm just going to run through the regular so that those of you who are new knows who's on here. So, to my right, we have Keon. Crew Key is the name that you see. Keon is a doctor of physical therapy and my actual blood sister, and she lives in Georgia. And then down here, this screen down here, is Maya. Maya is a former occupational therapist, currently a financial strategist, and she is located in Texas. So, also
I think you should always be an occupational therapist.
Oop.
I'ma always keep my license.
So you are always an occupational therapist. She said former.
My bad.
My background is in occupational therapy. I'm operating in a financial strategy space.
Yes. Ooh, I like that. So, Maya is also my blood sister. We are missing another sister, but she be booked and busy, child. So, today's topic is about a couple different things, really. If you read the blog, great. Please chime in on your favorite part. If you didn't read the blog, no problem. We will fill you in, and we like to go on tangents here because we have good conversations. So I basically wanted to talk about a couple different things. One, MLK and Martin and Malcolm X are two huge topics that we talk about for Black History Month that we learned in school. But I felt like there were lots of information that was left out, and there's always going to be information left out when you think about it, because when the guilty, the oppressor tells your story, of course they leaving some stuff out. And I don't mean the triumphs. I mean struggles. I mean different things that impacts us, things through history that you learn that you can learn from if you know your history. So I'm talking about that, and I'm also talking about how you need to learn the history for yourself for the aforementioned things. So I just want to know real quick from Keon and Maya, what stuck out for you when you read that blog? Because I was in my chest.
Go ahead, Key.
For me, something that really stuck out was like the framing of like those monumental people and how you kind of like implement them into your life, and how they can also be dangerous in a way. So like for example, I remember growing my home. You hear me?
You remember what?
Yeah.
Phenomenal Woman. So it's a Maya Angelou, like I don't know what it's just like a short poem, but it's basically identifying just the natural female. You're not a video vixen. You're not like being confident in your skin and being a phenomenal woman. It's like who you are. And even with my sexuality or just knowing who I am, like just seeing that poem in my house every day and just knowing it made me confident. It's like a female, like the things like that just makes me naturally unique and phenomenal in my own way. And it was such a simplicity, but I would say the danger part in that is like deep down I know that, but when it would be time for me to defend that image of just like not being able to, because the image stood behind like to me like something that was a framework in my life. Like I seen that poem all the time, and so it just made me. Oh, Maya need to mute. And so it just made me kind of a very confident female, like how I should be treated. I'm phenomenal, even though I don't look like what you would expect. And so that's what stood out to me. It was like the power in that and identifying that those historical moments that was taught to me were like actually like life-changing frameworks in my life, and I had no idea. Like I had no idea in the power of just like seeing it and knowing it and hiding behind that.
Yeah. That's pretty powerful, Keon. Maya, we got you on mute.
Yeah. I don't know why I keep having to go on mute. No shade. I think maybe it's my glasses. But I think what stuck out for me is the part that said, let me go to it because I'm good for making some words up. No one is coming to save us. They never have. And maybe the most important lesson of all, we are still here. We are still pushing forward. We are still questioning and demanding, not asking for common decency and God-given rights. We are still marching, sometimes in the streets, sometimes in the classroom, boardrooms, and homes. And every single day, in some way, we did overcome. I think that stuck out to me the most because I think we talked about this. Somehow it comes up in a piece of it comes up in every podcast we have of like the struggles we have in just navigating life, and especially the corporate world, and having to prove ourselves worthy, even though we have these degrees, we have these certificates, and all of these things that shows that we are just as worthy as anybody else. I think it just stood out to me because it's like, for that, it's history that's still repeating. Like the same patterns are still there. It's just institutionalized.
Yeah, that's true.
Systematically, I guess that's the word.
Piece was probably my favorite too. Like I feel like I said a lot, but that last piece was like, that was my favorite too. I don't know what it was, but yeah, I felt that. I'm not sure. So, okay. I think one of the other big pieces for me is, I did like that last piece, but one of the big pieces for me is I was watching something that gave me a little bit more insight, and I don't know, when I was watching it, I was thinking about all the things they had to overcome, because we often talk about the past in a way where we kind of only, I don't know, we talk about the past like it's almost sensationalized, it just doesn't always give the raw and the real. Like, we know people got sprayed and dogs put on them, but we know that a lot of people like to talk about the government surveillance and, I mean, what it's like to have FBI making you a target. But one of the things we don't talk about is both of these people endured things from their own people. Like, it's easy to look at the opposition and say, or, you know, the hater or whatever, and say that they did this, this, and that. But we don't really focus a lot on or have real discussions when we're talking about Martin Luther King or Malcolm X or the movement. When we're talking about Martin Luther King, probably 3 years before he was assassinated, there was an attempted assassination on him by a black lady. He was doing a book signing and she stabbed him with something. And then lots of, you know, of course, everybody knows Malcolm X was like, he cooning, you know, like turn the other cheek and all that. Everybody knows that. But also lots of other people were like, that looked just like us, were breathing down his neck about things too. And the same for Malcolm X. Malcolm X wasn't, the minute he changed direction or spoke freely about something, he kind of became a target to his own people. And we don't really talk about that. As a matter of fact, we almost talk about it like it's new today. Like, black people be, you know, it be your own people. We didn't used to do that. Yes, we did. The problem is we still haven't learned. That's the piece that I feel like gets completely glazed over. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like with me, like, I have
King, before you start, can we reiterate the topic really quick? Asked on what we referring to. Like, what was the question? I guess for the new viewers.
We didn't have a question. We're talking about Turning Movements into Men, the blog on labelmelegal.com. And like, what piece really stuck out to you, I guess is the question. Like, when you read that, or if you read it, what did you feel? And if you haven't, you can kind of glean from some of what we're talking about, you know, your opinions of it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like for me, like, knowing that about history has just made me separate myself from the vast majority of, like, in this fight, I'm not going to be the black people. I'm going to be me, and I'm going to be a strong individual and unique individual in this fight because, like you said, when you say, like, we haven't learned, some of us haven't learned. And those who haven't learned, I feel like we should choose to allow them to go through whatever turmoil they want to go through with that. But me personally, I'm going to stand 10 toes in my skin, and I'm going to truly express how I feel. And I'm just going to I'm going to have to acknowledge that sometimes I may always be that one and only rebel in the room, and I got to be okay with it. Like, I got to be confident in that, and I have to be okay with that. And that's just where I'm at with it, because, like, this is a never-ending battle of, you know, we the people. And there's nothing really, like, holistic about that, especially when you have a group of people with different backgrounds, different views, different purposes. And we may all have one common goal, but was the thing that drives us to that common goal is so different that it creates a different type of response to how we fight it. So, like, you know, somebody else may come from it from a standpoint, like, my uncle was lynched and burnt, so they come from a hatred and mean standpoint of beating the system. Where me, I just want to beat the odds and do numbers. Like, I don't care if I'm the only brown speck. Like, I want to be different in that way. So what drives me it doesn't come from a place of hate. It comes from a place of hunger.
Yeah.
And I just feel like when you put yourself in those spaces
Mhm.
and you choose to be that way in this environment, you are one day you may be the Martin Luther King, and one day you may be the Malcolm X. You a combination of history instead of being a standard,
Right.
a typical.
I like that, Keon. That's a good point.
Yeah.
And a good way to focus on it. I got a question though, but before I do, Maya, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, which one do y'all feel like y'all are,
I feel like
and why?
which okay, so other than identifying the obvious, like turn the other cheek and by any means necessary, I want to set further expectations that it is. I want to clarify a little bit more that to me it's not as simple as turn the other cheek and by any means necessary, right? Because Martin Luther King was instrumental in, he actually met with presidents and he went about it the political way. Whereas Malcolm X was a part of a group that had a certain way of thinking. So on its surface, I know, Maya, you probably think I'm gonna say Malcolm X. If I had to pick, I probably would say that. But honestly, it's like Keon said, I'm a combination because in a way, I go about it in a more political way too. Keon, why are you shaking your head?
Because we both know that's a lie.
I mean, the political part, y'all only thinking about the turn the other cheek part.
Not for baby.
Keon, come on, Keon. Answer the question, because y'all... I said Malcolm X, but I'm saying I'm political too.
I think I have a very Malcolm X presentation, but I'm definitely a Martin Luther King. Like, to know me is to love me for sure. Like, I'm definitely, if you just go off of the appearance, you could be completely wrong about me.
Yeah.
I don't know if people thinking, I don't know if you got a Malcolm X presentation. What you mean by that?
Like the arrogance, like the confidence, the cockiness, like the assurance in my word, like the assurance and just me standing 10 toes for what I stand on, like coming off rip, like that's what I'm saying. But like deep down, probably gonna follow some rules. And I'm just gonna look at Mom being
I
angry.
know.
I'm just I'm gonna try to do it the right way so I can be able to achieve the goal just in the least non-confrontational way. Like, I really am not for confrontation.
Okay, but is there a right way? Is there a non-confrontational way? Because as you've seen, as history has shown us, asking for permission, asking for decent, basic civil liberties doesn't get it. Holding your hand up doesn't get it. Requesting you be treated right doesn't get it. There's no.
I feel like hold on, wait. I feel like when you remove the emotion and you ask and you do these things in a political strategic way, you will get it. But when you emotional and you like being this like mad, aggressive, stereotypical woman that they like to put in the air, like, I just feel like that person is just going to run into a wall way faster than I am. I may have a longer process of BS, yeah. I may have a longer process of BS to know, but at least I'm entertained. I feel like that person that's super emotional coming into it, like, yeah, no one's about to literally, not even me, that's on the same team as you about to entertain this emotional person who wants you to feel and want to be feel and heard. Like, they ain't been hearing us. Like, calm down.
No,
You need
but
to learn the
that's
strategy.
but you using the stereotypical, you going all the way to the other end of the spectrum when it's not necessarily that. Like,
No, but I'm saying it's not necessarily
Malcolm
that.
X wasn't that. Malcolm X wasn't even emotional. He was calm. He was articulate. He was direct. He said what he needed to say, and he meant that. And he didn't give any of all that emotion. He was confident.
I know, but I'm saying it came off like very anything that comes off very passionate is considered emotional.
I think anything that questions a system that wasn't made for us is going to be considered emotional, rather I'm talking like this or rather I'm yelling.
Exactly. You can bring flowers to certain people and they still gonna say you a problem.
Yeah, when you don't have a strategy. If you don't have a strategy, I feel like you're definitely right. It can be because we're coming at the same pace and speed. But when you have a strategy and it's like, actually, you're right, bud. But when we look at it this way, like, I don't feel like it can be taken that way. I feel it can be manipulated. And because I have this power, like, and because I have this emotion behind it, my manipulation game is on 10. So I just think, like, I would say aggression or just the feeling of what this is systematic racism. This is like harping on those things do nothing but create just a blur of emotions that's not necessary for the space, because that's the reality of it. We know that. We know the history. We're aware that it is still present today and it's disguised. We know all those things. So with knowing that, I'm gonna choose to just fight the good fight in the most unique way that, like, you can't see me coming. I wanna blend. I wanna blend and be a part of something on the inside, and I feel like that's the only way change can truly happen. But if we go in with this constant feeling of, no, we have our rights, and that stuff ain't got us pepper sprayed, and it's like, why are we still doing that? Like, the results be the same. Pepper spray, and you still get a fine, you still get in trouble, and all you did was have a story to say that I stood up for the rights. Like, I want to be more strategic than that. I don't want to keep being like that aggressor. But Maya, let's see what the comments say.
Mom said, I try to give the benefit of the doubt. I know I give the benefit of the doubt. I see a person first, not their color. I know I'm fair and definitely not a killer, but Lord, don't push me. Shalina commented today and said, yes, ma'am, Sister Soldier.
Shalina said, I would say aggressive rather than emotional. So I guess she agreed.
Mom said she's MLK all the way.
I feel like Kiana is using the examples that everybody uses, like, but there's more than one way to do it. And everybody ain't marching. Everybody ain't going to protest.
Coming in aggressive.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's why I said it's both, because it's times when you like Mom's comment, there are times you have to show people who you are and whose you are. People bring certain things out of you at times. Exactly. So you're gonna meet people who say she is the nicest person and will walk you through this and this and that and take hours to help you. And you'll also meet people that say she was very short with me and didn't give me that kind of energy. Believe both of them, because whatever you gave me, whatever time we was on that day, I gave you that same energy. And I think it takes different strategies and a mix of them, right? Like, you can be political and strategic, but you also have to let people know, Like, I'm willing to stand on this, and I meant that. Like the example that we all know about, that we've seen portrayed out in movies and stuff, where Malcolm X had the men, they dressed up, they weren't protesting, they calmly all marched, simply walked, really, down to the police station to check on their friend who would have been dead if they hadn't got there and demanded that he needs to see an ambulance. Like, we'll call such and such governor in the morning, wouldn't have gotten that done. It just wouldn't have. There's a time and a place for both, and depending on if you're dealing with someone who's political and want to play the game, that's called for, and someone who at the time, like the police chief or whatever, who want to play those games and would rather not have a mob of angry people outside, there are times to do that too. But I think both are at times are necessary, and I don't think there's a right way to do anything. I mean, there's definitely a less strategic, less beneficial way of doing things, but yeah, I don't necessarily know that there's a right way. I was gonna ask a question though. So I was reading like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, and just the difference in the two, and just some of the stuff that I said. Do you feel like, based on what I said in the blog about like turning movements into men, and what I meant by that is like this movement was multiple people. It was many people who marched. It was many people who organized. Martin Luther King had a right-hand man. We didn't know about Reston until recently, till they came out with a movie for him. I mean, some people knew about him before, but he wasn't blown up like Martin Luther King, although he was integral to the March on Washington. So do you agree that we needed to put a face, like one person, on like the movement at the time? We needed like one person to sort of lead? Or do you agree, and basically what I'm saying, in sort of the dangers in creating one person as the face? You make them a target, and now they think, okay, if we take this person out, it'll slow the movement down. What y'all think about that?
I think that's strategy. I mean, that's
Which one?
somebody that you need to face.
Why?
Because I think that's strategy. Because I'm not trying to get the attention of the people that don't like me. I'm trying to get the attention of people who don't care to, like, I'm trying to get their attention. I'm sorry, I mixed it up. I'm not trying to get the attention of people who's used to me or me in my community. I'm trying to get the attention of people who find this unique face worth looking at, worth seeing. Like, sometimes, I mean, like, this is really messed up, but sometimes almost the attention that a brown-skinned, light-skinned person can get before a dark-skinned person is, like, very noticeable. Like, the comfort that some people will have in that is I mean, like, I'm not saying it's okay, and I'm not saying that this is a thing, but it's a reality, though. It's definitely true that a light skin with a pretty smile can literally manipulate a system before literally the darkest of the darkest could.
Okay, and I agree with you, that is the reality, but shouldn't we turn that on its head? And
if you playing the game and you playing chess and not checkers, and you trying to be seen, you trying to be heard, I want the face that they're more likely to look at. Like, yes, I want that face. It's strategy, it's business, it sucked, it's messed up, but is it gonna get the message across? Yes.
I don't
It
know
was
if
so
I
it was so
understand it.
because it was so many women before Rosa Parks who had the same situation.
That's true.
It was literally Rosa Parks who got the attention of like this whole movement to that bus situation. Like it's not okay. I'm not saying it's okay, but however, it has been a proven strategy to win over and over again. So why would I use that to my advantage?
Okay, I mean I understand that, but what you think?
Let me
Mike?
go to the comments. Sissy said, "Yep, I think whatever you give is what you get, even when you're not trying to." And she said, "Hi, ladies."
Hey, girl.
Mom said that's because a lot of you are the whiter and our race of people look to white being right. Shalena said it's a great strategy, but it's a dangerous one.
Exactly.
You're using a person that can gather the masses, but you put their life in jeopardy. Sometimes having too many spokesmen can confuse the message and cause confusion. That's what I have noticed sometimes.
Yes, but if you organized and the message is communicated in the same way, like everybody's on the same page about the message, then it's no different than corporations when they're asked to speak out about something, and they send a message, and if you call the head of this department, you call the head of this department, they send a policy. Everybody, this is how we're responding to this. No, don't. If you speak on it, this is how you're responding. Like if you do that and you have multiple people answering questions and being your messenger, then to me you don't have a face. Now you have multiple people, and now you have even if you don't have full organization, you have the appearance of organization. So you don't have an oppressor or one person or a group of people looking at us like, all right, well, all we got to do is target this one person. That's the person they all look to. You see what I'm saying? Like Shalena said, it's dangerous.
Mom said it's messed up and very unfair, but our folks need to get themselves together and believe in their own. Auntie Lenny said, "Don't you think that we as the people, play the color game often and make it more prevalent?" Just my opinion.
That's how I feel. I feel like there's a group of us in this culture who, that ain't right, that's wrong. But then there's also a piece of us that play the game with it, that play the game as well, because it's embedded in us too. Like it's just a part. It's a part of the makeup, and we make it more prevalent with our decision making, and our choices are. Sometimes we may pick a lawyer off of he looked like this and he done got this many views, but is it off his skin color? We won't give Uncle Chance that lawyer. He ain't got no views. And he black. You ain't enough important people that seen him. I'm gonna go with the white guy because he seemed like he got experience. He got charisma. Like we do it too. I think we do it too. So it's just very hard. And not saying it's okay. I just think it's just something that's a part of the system that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I understand that we do it. It is absolutely. I don't know that it's more prevalent in our community than it is in like colorism in the world or colorism brought on by white supremacy in general. I don't want to necessarily say it's more prevalent in our community, but I do know that we do the same thing. And I also feel like it's our responsibility to turn that on its head and completely fight against that and in every way that we can. Because I have seen people do the whole, and I've actually heard people say you know, so and so is a lawyer. I want the lawyer that's gonna be buddy with X, Y, and Z. And I'm coming from a lawyer on both sides. I'm gonna just be honest. I've heard people say, I want the lawyer on X, Y, and Z side because he know the judge, or they go golfing and they probably can, you know, help me out and get me in good. I've heard that. And I hate to say it, but some of these people, that is true. Sometimes you do have relationships. The justice system is an absolute and perfect system because it's run by human beings who bring their biases and everything else. And you do have that. But when you do that, when you put your money into them, you edify and amplify that message. And it makes it that much harder for us. Then y'all want to call me for free and ask me, is it right what he said? Call your lawyer, the one you hired. Like, we play those games and then be looking at me like I'm the problem. So I've seen it both ways, and I don't know, it sets me on fire, but.
But I'm gonna read the comments. Anthony said, "You're right, Keon. We don't help the situation." Hey, could he said, "Because I'm not going for none of it. I'm on your tail like a black pocket."
Like a back pocket.
Oh, like a back pocket, sorry. Shalene said, "The organization of it is great, but it's not as authentic. And when you are in a situation where you have to respond on the spot, sometimes ideas are not similar. It then causes issues. Corporations control the narrative at all times and schedule press conferences with specific agendas handled. When we are looking back at the past, organizations and messages shared, it had to be a single individual leading the public eye." Auntie Lenny said, "Colorism to a KKK member only see the one color, dark.
That's true.
We give ourselves the light bright, almost white."
That is true. And
That is so true.
And I really feel like it is a lot, and I have encountered, it is a lot of people who don't realize the underlying program that is playing in their heads about colorism. White is right, who you watch. A black girl could dance her tail off or sing her tail off, and you'll go watch a white girl because, wow, she can sing. Like, if you're unsure if it's you, check the next time you're on social media who you find, who makes you stop and go, wow, they danced cool. Okay, we do that all day, every day, with our eyes closed and our hands tied behind our back.
But I feel like I'm victim to that of me choosing to make my light bright because I wanted to be in rooms where there wasn't enough of me present. So to me, I thought that's what it took to get inside that room. And honestly, I learned that no matter what, like she said, it's still one color. And that's the reality that we're coming to today. It's like the point of not making that light bright because it don't change nothing. It literally changes nothing. It does something to you mentally and personally because you feel like, like if I speak like this, if I dress like this, if I walk like this gonna get me there because that's what they look like. And that's what it takes to get there. And that reality of realizing that it ain't enough is extremely, extremely painful.
Mm-hmm. And you do also have the unfortunate experience of those who feel that way internally because of the men of color in our own communities who value a certain look over other girls or a light skin over a dark skin. And that's unfortunate. But to that I say, please stop making these men priority and they're making us options. They be dating the rainbow. I suggest you do the same. You might get treated better.
And she digressed.
Yeah, because dating the rainbow is like, this is insane.
Maya, shut
I-
up.
Nah,
Because
you
in the
rock
deep
out with
track,
yours.
Anyway, hey Tisha.
I
Vivian
think
said, in essence, we are our own worst enemy. Auntie said, we always have been our own worst enemy. I don't know about that. We got real enemies out here. But we ain't helping our situation either. We got real
I
enemies
also
with real
think
power. What you say?
for a lot of
Maya?
people, it goes back because I've also heard that with in the financial world too. Like they would rather get advice from a white man versus seeing somebody that looks like them and that they can relate to because they trust the white man more. But I just think to me that just goes back in time to like what we've learned with like we had to depend on the white man all the way back in slavery. We had to listen to the white man, and so it's like we know that we have a one up if we hear from them. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I just think that just go back to like survival under I don't know, some type of survival tactic. I don't really know how to explain that, but it's like a deep history in it for me when I hear that, because you do see it often, and it's just like I don't understand.
I agree. You do see that because, like I said, some people think white is right, and some people think white is right, and they don't know they think that. But like I said, check who you find interesting, and who you make a big deal about, and who you scroll past. I think that part of that mentality again, it amplifies what we already like. It supports the narrative, and it keeps it going. It actually finances it. So we never get to get into these spaces. We never get to move up. Not to mention, I find it so absolutely crazy that history has shown you that you probably shouldn't be trusting these people as much as you do. And we still boo boo the fool. Like, I don't get it. I really don't. Like, 'cause for me, I feel more comfortable. I feel like if somebody gonna give me the game, it's somebody that look like me versus somebody who gonna take my money and just give me what they're required to give me. I really don't get the conundrum people be having.
I think that's the uniqueness of us and that's our upbringing. But like, there is actually like social psychology research with like numerical values that support that people unconsciously assign more authority to groups who historically are associated with power.
Yeah, that's true.
So the bias is not like a biological bias. It's more so like it's learned. It's a learned bias that we have, and it's through our through television. You know, like we watching I Love Lucy, and the people that had like the nice things didn't look like us. We would see the Jeffersons that look like us, which was a struggle like community. And then you see I Love Lucy, and she living her best life in a nice house, like. So it was in schooling, it was in our representation, our social norms, our communities. So I think that the reason why we have these barriers is because it's a learned bias, and in order to overcome it, you got to have active effort and awareness of this is a bias, this is a social norm. I got to break this. Like you have to see that and be proactive about it, instead of choosing to just assume that it's gonna change one day, it's gonna get better. Like that's dead.
Yeah.
That's dead. Like Barack Obama was a good president. He he's still trash to a lot of people. So I think it's just like seeing that like these are social norms that are learned behavior, and some of us are not in a space to actively want and aware that I want to be better about this. I want to change this. I want better for my family. I will say the generation that I'm in, I see more like black fathers in their children's lives than I saw when I was growing up, and I had friends who like didn't see their daddies or didn't know who their daddies were. But now I feel like that, that's learned behavior, and social media supports that behavior. You see girl dads, and they promote this community of that being a popular thing. So I feel like it's all individualistic. A lot of these topics nowadays, we're used to, it was a choice and it was about morals because we didn't have access to this information, but we have so much access to our reality and our truths. And some of us just ignore it and go with social norms.
Let me go to the comments. Shalina said, that issue is everywhere. I deal with it in the sports world, not being good enough because I'm a female or because I'm black. Oma said, it goes back to that dang slave mentality, talking about what I said, her and Shalina. And then Erica commented to Shalina and said, same in my workplace too. Because I'm a black female, you question me before questioning my white counterparts. Shalina says, it's a tricky situation, trusting anyone for me. Some people don't want to see you get ahead and others want to pull you down. So you just have to watch and listen more than you speak to know what you're dealing with.
Right.
Oh man, they keep moving. Auntie Lenny said, we are from different generations and racism will always be different to us. Things that I saw growing up, we worked hard to change that. If you don't know your history, how can you know what was changed so you didn't have to go through it? Today, kids think it's always been that. They don't know the struggle and sacrifice older people made. Just like the generation before me, we have to keep it going.
Okay, so I have a question about that, because if you're listening to this and you're like, okay, people like to say a lot of stuff like educate and we need to do this, we need to learn for ourselves, and even though you got the World Wide Web at your fingertips, if you're listening to this, how do you go about educating yourself? Where do you start? Because you have people that say our history didn't start at slavery. That's what they want you to think. But our history was before that. There are other people of color that look like us that were doing other things, the Moors. So how do you go about learning that? How do you go about studying, self-studying, and how can someone implement this in their daily life to teach their kids? Because if you are waiting on the school to do the right thing, the school that was built by the Industrial Revolution to make good little workers, the school that was built by the same people that oppressed you, you are failing. They're not going to do that. So how do those people teach and do what they need to do at home? Even if it's not, it doesn't necessarily have to be through a book or anything. Where would you send these people? Where would you send them for a solution?
I'm not like a go to the textbook and learn type of person. I'm more of I've learned to listen to the experience and take the experience and understand it, because I'm okay with learning from other people. Where sometimes you'll be like, that old head talking, like, I don't want to hear that. I always find value in those messages, because they were brought up in a different time, and so their opinion and responses to things are totally different from the way Maya would respond and have an opinion about something. And so I feel like for me to stay educated, I feel like it's just being open to not only the favorable opinion, but also listening to the biased opinion and not shutting it down.
That's
Like,
a good point, Kian.
hearing like the people that like really don't fool it and being, just I may go back and be like, but how, like I may listen to them talk very negative about my culture, very negative about something. I'd be like, but how did you get there? Like, did they, I sound intrigued by it opposed to sounding angry by it, because I feel like until you listen, you won't know. You don't know.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I think that's a good point, Kian, because it also causes people to articulate where their hate or bias is coming from. And what you'll learn is some people have misinformation, but some people truly just have good old-fashioned hate. You ain't got no reason. You just want to find an enemy.
Mm-hmm. And some people have trauma behind theirs.
Mm-hmm.
It just don't look the same because it's negative on our end, but some people have trauma behind theirs. And I think it's so much power in just listening. Like, people are so quick to respond. Like, most people are listening to respond. Like, let me hear what she about to say so I can get my comeback together. But it is so much power in listening, and you learn so much about the most basic person by literally choosing to say nothing and just ask all questions and listen to what needs to be told. So to me, I feel like I win that way, because then when I need to come back, I don't have to go off of what I think. I can go off the facts that you provided me with, because you said it. And I sat there and listened to you long enough to know that you said it. So this is what you said, but this is the results based off of what you said. So help me make it make sense now.
Yeah.
And now I flipped it, and now I put you in a seat to have to listen to me.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. If you get that
That's a
opportunity,
strategy.
yeah, if you get that opportunity, I definitely think you should do that.
I feel like we often have the opportunity, but emotion comes first. So we don't create the space to allow that opportunity to present itself to us, because we immediately like, she said what to us? Like,
or walk away.
Like, yeah, or we so angry, we so bothered by it, and we so emotional by it, like we have not created the space to even understand it. And me, I'm gonna stand 10 toes in that space, and I'm be like, now why would you say that?
Yeah. Maya.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. I never really thought of it like that. I think I think it's kind of funny on this topic where you thought more logically than emotionally, because you are an emotional person. But I think that's a good point, and I have to learn from that. Because I think like I get
mad a little bit on this one.
Yeah. Let me go. It's real quick. Just in case y'all didn't see, everybody, if you could pray for send prayers for Jill and her mom Irma. We've been praying for TT Irma. And Shalina commented to Auntie Lenny, said, "This is what I speak about to my students. You can't change what you don't know and understand." Mom said, I watched documentaries. I taught y'all watch movies. That's true. Did y'all learn any Black history in school? Like, I learned all of my Black history at home.
I learned about the key Black history, like Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King,
Yeah, that kind of, the cookie cutter. I learned that.
Yeah, but it wasn't meant, like, it was like briefly mentioned. It wasn't like going in depth. It was just like, yeah, this is what happened. Now let's move on.
But it was hit so hard. It was hit so heavy that it's like you knew the deepness of it. Because that's all you had. But at home, you heard about the Emmett Tills, you got to see the deepness of Dred Scott, Thurgood Marshall, Josephine Baker. Like, at home, it was just people, it was the little people. I felt like at home, it was the little people who got highlighted and were powerful at home for me. Like, even somebody as simple as Tiger Woods, like, and his meaning behind things. Like, I feel like at home, it was like a little detailed on the people who didn't get the spotlight. But the main one, I think I learned them.
Yeah. I remember going to around to others, not schools, but churches. Macedonia had this thing where they had a competition at one point, like Black History facts, inventions, and stuff like that. It was pretty cool. I learned a lot there. I remember a lot of people in our group in Malden lost us, the game. They didn't take it serious. Didn't learn no facts. But I appreciated, what the adults did for us. It was pretty cool. We traveled to like compete. It was like a black quiz bowl. I think.
Shalina said to go with Keon, we have to take the I'm right out of it and understand instead of getting angry. I looked at a post today and people get mad because you don't agree on points of view. Sometimes it's just about understanding the differences, like Keon said. That's also a strategy too.
Are y'all not unfollowing people when you see their comment? Like, y'all getting to know people and reading their comments and on your friends list, or y'all unfollowing people?
I'm not even entertaining it. I'm not looking. It's a lot of like Facebook politics, and it's just, and then the ignorance and people that be behind it. I don't feel like me and them just match in the same realm, so I just don't even like typically entertain it. But I will say the part of me like expressing that we don't listen enough is like me learning how to engage in active listening. And that is a skill that is taught and is not given, but you can learn somebody in literally 45 minutes. I feel like I can learn a lot about somebody in 45 minutes by choosing to engage in active listening. And that's just like, in no way, shape, or form am I going into this conversation expecting to be the narrator as much as I'm just a learner. I wanna learn as much as I can about you. Let's say the live will end in 5 minutes.
I don't know what that was, but
let me read Mom.
It's fine. I did the verification or whatever.
Mom said we talked, taught, and learned even as we went up and down the highway. I never left it up to the school to teach all about history. And right, Keon, I have conversations about culture often with some of my counterparts. A lot of them have questions and feel we're asking, but I assure them I'm not judging them. I welcome the questions. That's how we learn. Angelina said, yes, Keon, I agree. We don't listen. We hear parts because we are trying to figure out what we're going to say. Shalina said she learned Black history in school. She learned from home, but Ashley McMillan took time to discuss civil rights.
He did. Interesting.
Erica Nicole, the Black history that stuck came from movies or older family members' conversations about what they seen or went through. Most. She said, I don't unfollow no one. I like seeing people who are, I guess, as they are.
Seeing who people are.
It's giving dyslexia.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sleepy.
Yeah, let me see.
Okay. So we just said, I don't, stop. I don't unfollow, but I did like Keon and said, what is American culture? What was disrespectful? I'm still waiting on responses from those people from this morning. It told me all I needed to know, but I'm too nosy to delete them.
Ah, that's funny.
Auntie Lenny said, my sophomore year at MHS petitioned to have Black history on the curriculum. My junior year, Mr. Townsend taught it. There was supposedly no interest. I wasn't interested in the all-white history. I wasn't given the option of taking it. Black history should not be a choice.
Right.
Erica said, I will unfollow a page that's promoting negativity.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to leave y'all with this in my blog, if you didn't read it. Off the point that Auntie Lenny said, self-study is not optional when your history has been filtered, sanitized, or controlled. It is an act of self-preservation. It is how you learn what was left out, who was silenced, and why certain truths were never emphasized in the first place. If Black history teaches us anything, it is this. Systems do not save people, people save people. Progress has never come from blind trust. It has always come from awareness, numbers, and collective action. So that's the part at the end that Maya was talking about. No one is coming to save us. They never have. I think we should continue to work on self-study, reading, questioning authority, protecting one another, refusing to disappear quietly, because the other thing that isn't highlighted enough to me is, yeah, we overcame in a way. We have triumphs. But some of this meant so much to people, they were willing to put their lives on the line. And some of us ain't willing to put a job on the line. And I understand that it's hard and you want to protect your family. And that's why we need to do more. Protecting yourself, having a backup, always looking for the next job and making sure you're good financially is not just about self-preservation of you. Sometimes it comes down to self-preservation of your children. Sometimes it comes down to self-preservation of your people so that you can stand for something. So anyway, thank y'all for joining us in this topic tonight. We are going to keep... Sorry, Kenneth, we'll be back next Monday. We are going to keep talking about Black history until March, which is Women's History. And we got some juicy conversations going on with that too. So the next week, our topic is about universal truth, because people like to put Black history in a silo. But in this particular blog, if you go to labelmelegal.com/blog, it's already out. You can read it. Black history, universal history. I'm bringing science and physics into it. So unless you're crazy, you can't really deny science. We are backed by science, literally. And it's some motivational stuff in there, as usual. So hope to see y'all next week. Thanks for coming out.